Good evening, I'm Camelia and this is KiniNews. Due process takes center stage as Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim suggests that the Agong should hold off on considering Najib Abdul Razak's house arrest request until after the former UMNO president's ongoing 1MDB trial. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim suggested that the Yang Di-Pertuan Agong should only consider former Premier Najib Abdul Razak's request for house arrest after the conclusion of his ongoing 1MDB trial. Anwar emphasized that, as Prime Minister, he respects the King's authority and would only offer recommendations if asked. In an interview with Bloomberg at the Qatar Economic Forum, he said if the King asks for his advice, he would say, "Your Majesty, follow due process." Highlighting the importance of due process, Anwar referred to the previous King's partial reduction of Najib's sentences and advised the King to treat Najib's application like any other citizen's appeal to the Pardons Board. Anwar noted that Najib has been provided with all possible prison facilities to ensure some level of comfort, but he stressed that prison life is still tough. He added that he has experienced it firsthand, referencing his own time in jail. In 1999, Anwar was convicted of corruption and sentenced to 6 years in prison. He later faced an additional 9 years for sodomy, but was acquitted by the federal courts in 2004. In 2015, he was again convicted of sodomy, though he received a full royal pardon and was released in 2018. Najib faces 4 counts of abuse of power and 21 counts of money laundering, involving 2.27 billion ringgit from 1MDB. He has filed a judicial review to compel the government to implement a purported supplementary order by the previous Agong, which partially pardoned him by reducing his jail sentence to 6 years and lowering his fine from 210 million ringgit to 50 million ringgit. With the hashtag Mahasiswa UiTM Bantah, UiTM Student Council sparks a campus-wide movement urging students to don black attire in protest against proposals to open the cardiothoracic surgery program to non-Bumiputra students. UiTM Student Representative Council has called on students to wear black tomorrow to protest against the proposal to open the cardiothoracic surgery postgraduate program to non-Bumiputra students. The council also urged students to share photos of their attire with the hashtag Mahasiswa UiTM Bantah on social media to support the online campaign launched yesterday. In an Instagram story, the council stated it remains united in supporting UiTM to maintain its original mission of safeguarding and advancing Bumiputra students as a pillar of national privilege and progress. On April 25th, health website Code Blue reported Raja Amin Raja Mokhtar, a member of the Board of Studies of the UiTM IJN Cardiothoracic Surgery Postgraduate Program, as saying that the university is considering allowing non-Bumiputra parallel pathway trainees and graduates into the program with the approval of UiTM's Vice Chancellor and Board Chairperson for a limited period. This development follows the news that 4 graduates with a fellowship of the Royal Colleges of Surgeons Edinburgh qualification in cardiothoracic surgery were unable to register as specialists in Malaysia due to the Malaysian Medical Council not recognizing the qualification. UiTM is the sole university offering a parallel pathway program in collaboration with IJN in the cardiothoracic field, which encompasses surgery and care for heart and lung diseases. The Malaysian Medical Association previously suggested that UiTM should admit non-Bumiputra Malaysians seeking specialized training in cardiothoracic surgery, especially since international students can enroll in the university. However, Higher Education Minister Zamri Abdul Qadir stated that there have been no discussions on opening the UiTM postgraduate program to non-Bumiputra students. UiTM's Vice Chancellor Shahrin Sahib affirmed the university's commitment to upholding the UiTM Act and Article 153 of the Federal Constitution, which restricts enrollment to Bumiputra students. Nevertheless, he stated that UiTM will comply with any government decision endorsed by the Yang Di-Pertuan Agong if the issue arises due to national necessity. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil took aim at Meta's social media censorship, calling out the removal of local press posts on Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's meeting with a Hamas leader, igniting a debate on digital journalistic freedom. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil has criticized Meta for removing social media posts by local press covering Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's meeting with a Hamas leader. Speaking at a press conference in Putrajaya, Fahmi announced that the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission will be reaching out to Meta for an explanation of the incident.
Sebagai Menteri Komunikasi, saya kecam tindakan pihak Meta untuk menurunkan artikel ataupun posting daripada media dan apatah lagi kerana ini adalah pelaporan tentang lawatan rasmi Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri ke Qatar dan pertemuan dengan sayap politik sebuah organisasi, bukan sayap militan ataupun sayap militeri.
Fahmi's remarks came after Facebook removed posts from Malaysia Kini and Sinar Harian. Malaysia Kini's content was taken down for allegedly violating community standards on dangerous individuals and organizations. Additionally, Malaysia Gazette had its Facebook account deleted, prompting them to create a new one.
Yang saya kesal adalah tindakan ini telah dilakukan oleh sebuah organisasi yang secara umumnya dianggap berpengkalan di Amerika Syarikat. Dan jelas mereka tidak menghormati hak kebebasan media untuk menggunakan platform mereka.
If you like access to news like this and more, subscribe now to Malaysia Kini and support independent media. Amidst allegations of Malaysia's involvement in sanctioned Iranian oil transfers, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim boldly refuted the claims, declaring them devoid of evidence. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim firmly denied allegations that Malaysia is involved in ship-to-ship transfers of sanctioned Iranian oil, stating there is not one shred of evidence to support these claims. Speaking at an economic forum in Qatar, Anwar addressed concerns raised by U.S. Treasury Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Brian Nelson. Nelson had suggested that Iran relies heavily on Malaysian service providers to transport its oil. Anwar said the U.S. did not produce a single piece of evidence of any transshipment in international waters. Nelson also mentioned efforts to prevent Malaysia from becoming a hub for fundraising and money transfers for the Palestinian group Hamas. Malaysia has historically supported the Palestinian cause and advocates for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. During his trip to Qatar, Anwar met with Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. However, he clarified that while he maintains good relations with Hamas's political wing, he has no involvement or discussions with the group's military operations. Anwar's remarks aim to address the concerns raised by Nelson and reaffirm Malaysia's stance on the Palestinian issue, while distancing the country from any alleged involvement in Iranian oil transfers or Hamas's military activities. Attempts to settle a defamation suit involving DAP's Lim Guan Eng, Lim Kit Siang and Teresa Kok against Pasir Siti Mastura Muhammad have fizzled out, pushing the case toward a full-blown trial set for September. A court-mediated attempt to settle a defamation suit involving DAP chairperson Lim Guan Eng and two other party stalwarts against past lawmaker Siti Mastura Muhammad has hit a deadlock. As a result, the Penang High Court is gearing up for a full trial in September to address the civil actions brought forth by Guan Eng, DAP veteran Lim Kit Siang and Seputeh MP Teresa Kok. These actions stem from an allegation suggesting the trio's familial ties to a communist figure and a former Singapore Prime Minister. Initially, the court proposed mediation as a means to resolve the legal disputes between the parties. However, when contacted, the counsel for the DAP trio Sankara Nair confirmed that the mediation had been unsuccessful. Consequently, the matter is now slated for a 9-day trial in September. Malaysia Kini is seeking comment from Siti Mastura's legal team in response to these developments. Last year, on November 27, Guan Eng, Kit Siang and Teresa filed civil actions against Siti Mastura following her speech at a Kemaman by-election campaign event. During the event, Siti Mastura alleged that the three DAP leaders had family connections to Communist Party of Malaya leader Ong Boon Hua, popularly known as Chin Peng, and Singapore's first Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. The plaintiffs are seeking general, compensatory, aggravated, and exemplary damages, along with an injunction to prevent further dissemination of the allegation. Syed Abdul Rahman has momentarily reclaimed his wings. The Court of Appeal, led by Judge Hadaria Syed Ismail, gave a resounding bon voyage as they granted him a temporary passport release. Syed Abdul Rahman, the Muar MP, has been granted a temporary release of his court-impounded passport to travel to Singapore and Taiwan. A three-judge Court of Appeal panel, led by Judge Hadaria Syed Ismail, unanimously approved the passport release from today until June 18th. When Hadaria inquired if the prosecution had any objections, Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Afif Ali confirmed they did not, deeming the reasons for the request reasonable. The panel, also including Judges Muhammad Zaini Mazlan and Azmi Arifin, approved the application from Syed Saddiq's lawyer Hisham Te Po Teik for an official letter allowing travel during this period. Syed Saddiq's passport is held by the court pending his appeal against his conviction and a sentence of 7 years in jail, a 10 million ringgit fine, and 2 strokes of the cane for criminal breach of trust, misappropriation of funds, and money laundering. On May 8th, Bernama reported that Syed Saddiq requested the temporary passport release to attend his close friend's daughter's wedding on May 18th in Singapore. In his affidavit, the former Youth and Sports Minister mentioned his desire to honor the invitation from his friend George Yeo Yong Boon, a former Singapore foreign minister who has been a mentor to him. Syed Saddiq, 31, also stated that he was invited by the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Malaysia to visit Taiwan from June 10th to June 15 as a Malaysian representative. Last November 9, the Kuala Lumpur High Court found Syed Saddiq guilty and sentenced him. However, the execution of this sentence is on hold pending his appeal. Syed Saddiq was charged with abetting the former Assistant Treasurer of the Bersatu Youth Wing, Rafiq Hakim Razali, in misappropriating 1 million ringgit of the wing's funds. He was also charged with misappropriating 120,000 ringgit from Armada Bumi Bersatu Enterprises Maybank Islamic Berhad account by directing Rafiq to dispose of the money. Additionally, Syed Saddiq faces 2 counts under the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001 for laundering 50,000 ringgit each through various transactions. PAS's Mardia Johari bluntly noted that in the recent by-election, the youth grooved to Perikatan Nasional's tunes, leaving Pakatan Harapan's promises on silent mode. And she says she knows why. PAS Young Women's Wing Director General Mardia Johari said the recent Kuala Kubu Baru by-election has shown that the youth voted mostly for Perikatan Nasional. She said this is similar to the trend in the 15 general election. Mardia claimed that the political candy Pakatan Harapan offered in the polls was insufficient to buy the votes of the youth. She said it is ironic that young people did not vote for the Young Harapan BN candidates as they are aware that the candidate from DAP represents the coalition that leads the government. She was quoted as saying by Haraka Daily that it turns out the young people are not satisfied with the government's performance. With this, she urged the government to work on its disconnection from the youth, especially when it comes to freedom of expression. Mardia was referring to the analysis from the Selangor government think tank Institute Darul Ehsan. On Monday, its senior research manager Karul Arifin Muhammad Munir said PN secured 63% of votes from those aged 18 to 24. That the turnout of voters aged 41 and above exceeded more than 60%, while the young crowd's turnout was less than 55%. He added that a factor for this lower turnout among younger voters was their absence from Kuala Kubu Baru. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you would like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.